gravity. Here comes a leg sweep. Incredible. Malachi. Now. Both men exchanging right.
About 4 or 5 years ago, I did a video where I glanced over my professional wrestling style that was heavily influenced by martial arts. And now that we have this really neat setup here over at the Dark Arts, I think it was time that we revisited that, adding some stuff, because obviously in the last 4 or 5 years, a lot has changed, and a lot in my style has changed. Obviously, I'm very known for using very realistic approach to wrestling, or taking something that is in the realms of martial arts and then filtering through the lens of professional wrestling and making them work in a sense that they still hold true to what is martial arts, but then having them being sold over or brought over to the realm of professional wrestling. So for the first one, we're going to go from a high guard, which is something that comes from Muay Thai, and that steps into a spinning back elbow with the left. So in a position where an opponent would come in for me with a clothesline, I would use the high guard, where I would trap the arm, one on the wrist, one on the neck, or towards the bicep. And from this angle, what I'm going to do with my elbow is I'm going to move the arm out, step through with the left and with the right, and pivot out and do a spinning back elbow. You'll see me do this against, for instance, Kyle O'Reilly. Obviously, I've been using the spinning back elbow for a very, very long time, but I try to innovate the ways of hitting the spinning back elbow.
A boot from Malachi and a block. Oh.
So the following one is something that, like, in my opinion, is heavily overused. So I always try to find different ways of hitting these, whether that's standing, whether it's from a corner, which we'll cover as well. But one of them that I really like is from Muay Thai, where you catch under her body kick. So when you come in and step this way, I would capture him. I would hook the arm this way. Now what I do is I'll pivot my hips back, rotate the foot, and from this angle, both hands on the foot, and what I'll do is I'll pull him back, and at the same time, leap up with the knee. So Justin's gonna throw his hands up. Hopefully, if not, you'll find him over there. For this angle, as I'm pulling him in, I would hit that flying, direct, straight knee strike.
The kickboxing background of Malachi Black. Whoa.
So another one, which is another variant on a spinning back elbow, which you from the side you see a lot. Now this one kind of cuts through the middle. You see me do the sprints on AR Fox and AAW. It's from a position where I'm either selling or the opponent is reaching for my head or is guarding in any separate way, but let's take it from the position of Lee selling backwards or having my attention focused towards someone else. My opponent would grab me, spin around, reach for my head, and I would come into the middle and I would rotate. So the point of axis is from this angle is to fling my elbow up this way and everybody on.
Leak turned his back. AR Fox. Oh, what a back elbow right there. Christian.
Now this one is a little bit more Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon style. It is the feint knee pull into the knee. So what would happen is that I will be positioned in the corner, and you've seen me do this. I usually followed up with a leg sweep, but I would be in the corner, my opponent would come running, and I would throw the boot up as if I'm trying to get rid of my opponent, but my opponent intercepts. So often you will see me deliberately pull my foot up a little slower, because that's where the realist aspect comes in, because I want them to catch me, right? From this angle, I would push them out, and I would pull them back in at the same time, moving my knee or my shin up, and from the angle they will come in. So from this angle, it'd be a 1, 2, down, and my opponent would obviously sell backwards or be dazed and would run out with a leg sweep or with something else, or maybe front knee, or something that we're also going to cover in a second is the top elbow.
Here comes my lift driver. Oh!
Look at that counter. Leg trip.
Takeshita as part of the Extravaganza Revolution next Sunday live on pay-per-view.
Members of God.
In a landscape where a lot of people either throw punches or do forearms or European uppercuts, I thought to myself, like, okay, there's so many variables and strikes and things that are not necessarily brought into the realm of professional wrestling, and obviously a big strike in a lot of martial arts. I think they actually just reinstated this particular elbow in MMA, is the 6 elbow, or the tomahawk elbow, and it's an elbow that comes right across. So it comes from an up position and goes in downward. So for me, with my opponents, I would either have them run towards me, because there's also a position where I do them where I jump from the leg, come down, but in the normal consensus on this, for the most part, I would have them stand in, and I would come in, and I would land my elbow on top of the forehead. Real simple. Hop, that's it.
Oh, there's another kick, and that caught the left knee again. Oh, wow, brother.
That's Reno right about now. Get Vegas. Look at Malachi. Whoa.
Another variant on the catch of the body kick and pulling my opponent in, where we usually hit the flying knee strike, is to use the flying forearm or the flying elbow. So the same thing. Now, a bit, mind you, for this one, you could also grab this from the toe kick. So if he would come with a toe kick, I could still grab him this way. But let's say, for the sake of argument, it is that body kick again. I would intercept and I would trap. Move the foot forward, and as I'm pulling him in, he would have to move all his weight forward, and I will catch him with the elbow up front.
The Dragon Steamboat action is ready, and now. Wow.
One of my not so utilized moves that I have not applied many times at this point, but have done a few times, is a leg trip. And the reason why is because it's quite difficult for me to always utilize this one, because not everybody moves the same way. So this is a very calculated one, and I have to have someone that has really good footwork. So what I would normally do is I would have my opponent walk towards me, or in whatever capacity my opponent would initially be in front of me. What I would do is I would use my foot. I would place my foot right behind their heel. I would really low, and I would step right back in. Be struck.
Malachi escapes out, back elbow. Well, that's what they said. I mean, listen.
Now the following kind of falls in line with the previous one. I haven't done this very often. I think the one that I can remember is the one with Kenny Omega. What I would do is my opponent would come charging me, and what I would do is I would place my knee on their hips, and I'll place my hand up so that they can't reach me. So as they're stepping in, I would place myself right here. And often what I would do, I would either, if they would grab my leg, I would come in with an elbow or hop this way, or I would push them out, and I would follow up with high, body, low, whatever I can think of. So these are some, if not all, of the additional ones that I've been using. That lens will never stop translating itself. I always look for different techniques, ways of utilizing certain holds or certain catches to apply to my trade of wrestling to, force myself to stand out, but also hopefully to make others think and not blatantly take either what I demonstrate here or demonstrate from others, because the beauty about professional wrestling is that there is, as you can see, there's so much that you can utilize and you can use and you can format and create. And I think where the absolute poetry of professional wrestling lies is into making techniques realistic, unique, and completely yours. So whatever you do moving forward, if you are a professional wrestler watching this, let your mind really be creative. The creative process of this industry is, in my opinion, the most fun one. Yes, the wrestling is exactly what we want to do, the characters, the promos, but really to sit down and force your character, your style, what it is that you do to be, uniquely yours, that takes skill. So thank you very much for checking this out. This is Coach Justin here, the Dark Arts, or Orion. You can check him out at OVW, and I'm sure there's right here, right now, is some sort of Instagram tag where you can find him. I meant to make more videos, especially with my wife as well, especially now that we have everything up and running. The guy who filmed this, who's behind the camera, I think right now, right here is where you can find his tag. He's a doozy, this guy. I will hopefully see you soon, and thank you very much for watching.